Who were the ancestors of the people of present day Nagaland? What is their origin and were they part of ancient India? This is a very good question, and this is a question that we don't have an answer to as of today. Historians don't know what is the origin of the people of Nagaland. So let's talk about the people of Nagaland. Where is Nagaland? Do you guys know where it is? Most people don't know where Nagaland is. Let me once again go to the map. Where is the map? Okay, we were in northwestern India. Let's go to northeastern India or the far east of India. So this here region, this here, if you can see my mouse pointer is Nagaland. It is a state in the far east of India. To the south you have Manipur. To the north you have Assam. To the east you have Meghalaya. To the west you have Myanmar or Burma. So this is the state of Nagaland. Who are the Naga people? The Naga people are a number of tribes. Okay, so there are a number of tribes in Nagaland. You have the Konyak tribe, the Ao tribe, the Lotha tribe, Rongmei, Tangkhul, Mao, Sumi, etc. A number of tribes. So historically, these tribes were all living in this region, and many of these tribes were living in isolation. This is a very hilly region. Okay, by the way, it's a very hilly region. It's very easy to stay isolated if you're a small tribal community. So many of these tribes may have been isolated for a very long time. Many of them speak very different languages. They can't understand each other's languages, and they all practiced. So now they are all Christians, but 100 years ago, even 60, 70 years ago, the majority of them practiced their ancient uh, indigenous culture, mainly animism, nature worship, ancestor worship, that sort of thing. And many of them could not understand each other's language. So you had tribes that were living in isolation. Many of the tribes are very big, and many of these tribal groups are currently found in present day Manipur. Some of them are found in Arunachal Pradesh. Many of them are found in parts of Myanmar as well. So this is a large number of different tribes. So when the British came to India, they categorized all these people as Nagas. So it is an exonym. It's a name that's been given by outside forces. Now so what is the origin is the question, right? So we know that when the Ahoms migrated to Assam in the 13th century, these Naga tribes, what are now called Naga tribes, they were already present in this region. They were already there. When it comes to the Manipur, see the major kings that ruled this region were the Manipuri kings, the Meitei kings, the Ningthauja dynasty, which goes back at least 2,000 years, most likely 3,500 years. Now, in Manipur, there is this saying that the people of the hills and the people of the valley are brothers. The people of the valley are the Meiteis of Manipur, and the people of the hills are the various tribes, the so-called Naga tribes. So, if the Meiteis are 3,500 years old, if that's their history, then it is possible that even the Nagas may have been living in this region for 3,500 years. We simply don't know. Our historians have not done their duty. They have simply neglected the Northeast. In the case of Manipur, they have their own records of kings. They have their own historical records, and that's why we know the history of Manipur. When it comes to the Nagas, nothing, there is no history. I don't know if history was written or not, but we don't have it today. But I would think that it is quite likely that the people of Nagaland, the various Naga tribes, may have lived in this region for 2,000-3,000 years or even longer. We don't know. Some people say, some historians say that Nagas came from China or Nagas came from Mongolia, etc. I mean, where is the evidence? People these days make claims without evidence. I think it is quite likely, quite possible that they may have been living in this part of India, in this part of the world for a very long time. It is quite possible. It's quite likely. What needs to be done is that the historians need to take some interest in this region and find out what is the origin. One of the ways to do this is to do genetic analysis, genetic tests of the populations. If you do genetic sequencing of these genomes of the people of this region, Manipuris, Nagas, people of Arunachal Pradesh, etc., we'll be able to find out what are the migration patterns and when these migrations happened, how many centuries ago, how many thousands of years ago. As of today, it's not been done. And secondly, I'm sure that the various Naga communities, various Naga tribal groups, etc., they have their own mythological histories, their own foundational histories and all stories and all that. If you go and talk to the village elders and all, they will have their own histories of their community. So why has this not been documented? What are the so-called professors in the University of Nagaland in the history department doing? They are not doing anything. I don't know what they do. So it is unfortunate that we don't know as of today the origin and the history of the people of Nagaland. They are a very diverse people, very interesting culture, very beautiful culture, their ancestral culture. Yeah. So it would be, I would be fascinated to know. I would be very interested to know what is the deep history of the people of Nagaland. What is the deep migration history, if there is any, or have they always been living here for many thousands of years? We don't know. But this is the kind of research that needs to happen. India is a gold mine when it comes to historical research, when it comes to sociological research, when it comes to genetic research, and so many other things. Unfortunately, our intellectuals, our historians, our academicians, our eminent people, they simply don't care. Sad, isn't it?